Welcome to Sew Very Easy. My name is Laura and I just finished coming back from Quilting Confections in Windsor, Ontario. And they had this panel on display and I absolutely fell in love with it. It is an advent calendar and it was made by Northcott. And I will put a link in the description. What is really great about it is there are pockets that you're going to be able to put little treats in. But the best part is you do not have to sew the pockets. There's no cutting involved. The way they design the fabric is you just need to fold it and it's going to make the pockets for you. Join me and I'll show you how easy it really is to make this pattern. You're going to cut all the way around this border, just following the line. And don't forget to cut off a little bit of this selvage and you'll be able to see where you can cut it off. Now an option would be for you to take this piece that was at the side and you can sew it onto the bottom, and that's going to make the quilt a little bit longer. And I found that if you started here and ended here, it's going to fit nicely on this panel. So I'm going to sew that on next. So I've sewn that border on that side strip. Now I know it was supposed to be used for something else, but I think it'll be kind of cute. I'm going to be able to fill in that label there. And I've pressed the seams open. Now if you look carefully along the pattern, you will see two black marks on each side. And those black marks are your folding marks. So you're going to take these fold marks and it's going to have one fold here. And then the next fold is this one. So it will come up like this. And it has the little pockets. And you will do that all the way along. Iron along those fold marks, and then when it's all folded it will look like this. Then you put it on a piece of quilt batting and you're able to just stitch following this edge here and the row here, and you're going to have your individual pockets. Now I'm going to change it a little bit and I'm going to do a quilt as you go because I like to make it a little bit bigger. So here are all of my crisp seams. And you will see that each one of these now will be able to work as a pocket. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I am going to put it on top of a piece of batting that is a lot larger than this project because I want to put a border around it. Now I like to use the Hobbs fusible batting, and the reason is I'm just going to be able to iron this together and I won't have to do a lot of pinning and it's going to make things a lot easier. And I'm going to bring this to the ironing board and I'm going to fuse this panel onto this quilt batting. And you won't have to worry about the pocket being fused because you will not have this flap being fused. You will only have the back. Now because this is a quilt as you go, you will need to fuse your back fabric onto your quilt. So here we go. I have it fused on, and as you can see I have little flaps here. And my backing, which is a lot larger, is on the back. Now the next thing you're going to do is going to seem very, very strange, but you're going to take this to the machine and you are going to quilt in this area here, not quilting on this flap. Okay, so I have quilted in between each of these rows and I've just done a stippling into each of these rows. And along the bottom and the top, I've just done a little swirl pattern. The next thing I want to do is I want to secure and actually make the pockets. So I'm going to line up the fabric, I'm going to give it another press, and I'm going to stitch along the line here on all of the rows and on the outside so that the little pockets will have been made. So I've stitched all of my rows down and I've done a stitch all the way around to secure it. So now I have all of these little pockets. Let me show you the back. So you can see my stitching line, and this is where all of the stippling went. Now if you want, you can just cut the extra batting off and put a binding on it at this point. But I did want to make this bigger, so I'm going to add a border on it. And the border, I am going to just use the edge of the fabric just like you normally would if the batting wasn't on. And to put your borders on, you do like you normally would any quilt. You do your top and bottom, and then you do your sides. And in this case, you're just going to stitch right through your back and your batting, following your last piece of fabric. Fold them down, give them a press, and now you are going to quilt your border. So the borders have all been quilted, and I just used a little swirl design, the same as I used up in the top, sort of that snow blizzard kind of look. And I did quilt through all layers. So now my quilting is all done. I just need to square the quilt up, put the binding on, and I am done. So I finished it up with some nice red contrasting binding, and we are done. Now with that piece that I cut off, this is all that I have left over because I took those little pieces that were left over and I made 2 little pillows just in case I didn't want to put treats in the pocket. I can use the pillows. And the one little label, I put it on the back of the quilt. Now, did I get carried away quilting this quilt? Yes, I did. But I figure this is going to go in the wash a lot, especially if I put treats inside of it. But you can do this method with any piece of fabric that you want, and you can make the size pockets any size you want. It just depends on how much you fold and stitch. And it'd be very interesting to see what the different fabric would turn out after it's been folded. And then you'll have pockets you can put on the back of your door, and I'm sure you can find lots of things to put in those pockets. Thank you for joining me today. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back and let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.